This show is titled Lake Tai. The name comes from the large freshwater lake just west of Shanghai. The works in this show explore the deep cultural and natural histories of the lake, but also its more recent past as a site of environmental degradation and also restoration. When you enter this room, you can really smell this work, which is made of algae, and it has this incredible sour smell. My grandfather, who grew up in Wuxi, used to recall crab season. It was one of the few memories he shared of his childhood on Lake Tai. Here I've remade the hairy crab form in perhaps the lake's most infamous production, the toxic algae that took over the lake in the 1990s and 2000s. I think of this algae-dense work as, in a way, kind of sequestering this excess carbon and nitrogen outside the chemical cycles of the lake. The aesthetic and artistic history of Lake Tai is inseparable from the Taihu stones. These are the twisted limestone forms that are an iconic feature of Chinese gardens. I wanted to take this famous form, this kind of precious commodity from the lake, but recreate it out of the lake's organic waste materials. So some are made in the same toxic algae as the crab sculptures. Others are made from the discarded shells of hairy crab after they've been eaten. And some are made from the dried remains of invasive plant species that are being actively removed from the lake. As part of this work, I collaborated with students at Tongji University. They were working with the same waste materials as I was in these sculptures, but they were trying to create new kinds of bioplastics using those same materials. What I conceive of as the first interior space in the show, the sunroom, tells the story of Suzhou Creek, both its more recent modern and industrial history and its ancient history. These works are made out of recycled concrete and salvaged rebar, and they all come from demolition sites in Shanghai. I was thinking about how Suzhou Creek had become this highly industrialized waterfront, and this kind of concrete and steel architecture really dominated Suzhou Creek, but more recently those structures are being taken down. The form comes from the shanmu, the Chinese fir. I learned that the straight timbers of shanmu were used in ancient times to control the floodwaters of Suzhou Creek. I based the form of these works on the floor on litter found around Lake Tai. They're really common items like fruit baskets and discarded water bottles. But I had these remade in Yixing clay, the famous clay from the Taihu region. I've added to a few of these organic elements. I've added the leaf of a plane tree. One is holding a kind of living clump of water hyacinth. And these to me are a kind of flower arrangement, but a kind of flower arrangement for this kind of age of ecological disruption. On the shelf are works made in jade, and they're inspired by the jade of the Liangju culture, which emerged around Lake Tai 5,000 years ago. And so I've created a kind of secular version of the Liangju jades by carving jade in the form of common hardware, like a bolt or a washer. In the garden is a work that I call Shanghai Swamp. And this work is a living replica of the wetlands that used to cover much of Shanghai. This very area of Jing'an used to be swampland and was drained to create this part of the city. By including this piece of a lost landscape in this very urban part of Shanghai, I hope that it has some kind of local effect on the ecology in the neighborhood.